One of the things we do in chemistry is to try to teach students about things they generally would take for granted otherwise. And one of those things has got to be air, atmosphere, and the pressure it exerts. And one demonstration that's very common for that is using what are called Magdeburg spheres. Magdeburg is a town in Germany where the mayor had this vacuum pump business, and to illustrate how strong these vacuums were that he was creating, he had the teams of horses try to pull this sphere apart, two hemispheres apart. So Magdeburg sphere, common demonstration, you need a vacuum pump. And I found another alternative that I like even better because these things are really robust. I found these in a hardware store, and can you guess what they're used for? No, they're not used for resuscitating people, though they kind of looks like that. Or these aren't old, cell phones. Hello, no. These are actually used for picking up panes of glass. They're just suction cups. So I will make this interesting for you. My assistant Scott's going to try to pull these apart, and I'm going to give him a little incentive, a week's salary, my week's salary here, $10. Okay. And we're going to put that in here, and to create the vacuum, you simply go like this, and what that's doing is it's causing it to pucker outward and create a near perfect vacuum inside there. Okay, so you interested in making $10, Scott, there? Go ahead and pull that apart. Give it your all. No fair playing with the levers there. Just straight apart there. Yeah, okay. I think I just kept my $10. Is it impossible to pull these apart? Because that's what students think. It's impossible. Or they might think that if it is possible, it's because the vacuum wasn't a perfect one. That's not true. These are possible to pull apart even if it were a perfect vacuum. In fact, it's a nice little calculation. Atmospheric pressure is rather strong, 14.7 pounds per square inch. To give you an idea of what that's like, I have here about 15 pounds, 5-pound bar and about a 10-pound weight. And it turns out that I put on a little soda cap, which is about a square inch. It's a round square inch. But anyway, that right there gives you an idea of what atmospheric pressure is like. And that is being exerted on every square inch of your body. That adds up to several tons of force, and we're just used to it. So that's 14 pounds per square inch. And if we took this and just measure the radius of this, and then multiply that by 2, because there are 2 of them, I figured out it's about 490 pounds that Scott would have to pull apart. And I don't know many people who can do this kind of motion, 490 pounds of resistance. It would be possible. It certainly would be possible if these were smaller, but it's physically possible. So I like that. It's incentive there to, $10 always makes it interesting. And the other thing that I like pointing out is, would it be possible to drink through a 40-foot tall straw? Now, drinking straw, that's pretty simple. That works on suction, doesn't it? Well, it turns out everything that we think of as relying on suction cups, drinking straws, you can't use suction, a pulling force created by a vacuum. I emphasize this with my students. What is a vacuum? Nothing. What can nothing do? Nothing. It can't pull then. No, it can't. So what was holding these together? Not the vacuum that was in there, that's nothing. But rather the atmospheric pressure pushing inwards on that. And that's very important to understand. Everything we think of as being suction is actually atmospheric pressure pushing, not a suction pulling. So these are being pushed together, not pulled. And that's kind of impressive, because when you think about it then, you have to fight 500 pounds to get these apart. That means atmospheric pressure is very strong. Certainly strong enough to help us use a drinking straw. I'm going to go to the board for a second. How does a drinking straw work? Couldn't be an easier mechanism there. You got the straw, you got the water, you got your thirsty person there. Before they start to drink on it, there's obviously air inside the straw, air outside the straw, and that's exerting pressure. And that pressure is pushing on that liquid. When you drink through a straw, you're not pulling the liquid up. You're just decreasing this pressure. You don't have to decrease it very much at all. And you're allowing the outside atmospheric pressure to push it up. So that water is being pushed in your mouth. Well, could we drink through a 10-foot tall straw? Yeah, you'd have to create a better vacuum in there. 20 foot? Yeah, but there's a limit. That limit, turns out, is 33 feet. Actually, it's 33 feet for salt water. It's 34 feet for fresh water, and not many of us like to drink salt water, so 34 feet. If you're a scuba diver, you're familiar with the idea that every 33 feet you go down in salt water, you have an extra atmospheric pressure on you. So this is kind of crazy. If I had a 40-foot tall straw, now it can't be 40 feet horizontal. It's got to be a 40-foot vertical difference there. And I used to have outside my classroom when I taught in Connecticut a stairwell that went down and was about 40 feet tall. We put a cup of water, we'd go out there, and the students would line the staircase, and there'd be one at the top trying to drink through the straw, and then another one would try. We'd wipe it off, of course, in between and stuff. And, of course, no one could do it. I'd hook the vacuum pump up to it. Couldn't do it. Why? Because one atmospheric pressure is only able to raise water up around 33, 34 feet. So it's kind of interesting. This, which seems impossible, is actually possible, very difficult to do. This, which seems possible, given a strong enough vacuum, would be impossible. And both of them, because atmospheric pressure, it's strong, but it is finite, 14.7 pounds per square inch. Thank you.